Namaste everyone. Welcome back to Chess and Me channel. And in this channel, we are bringing interesting openings, novelties, middle games, and end games from the latest international chess tournaments. I am Lanka Ravi, international chess master and senior FIDE trainer. And I would like to show a game between Grandmaster Bahadur Jobava and Germany's top Grandmaster Matthias Blaubaum. This game happened in 20th European Team Chess Championship in Bottomid 2025, and we reached this position. Black just played King F6 so that he can stop White's. If White plays Queen E2, he can play G5. So anyway, he played Queen E2 and Black played G5, and we are having this Queen and Pawn endgame position. So naturally, White takes the end position here. Pawn takes pawn, King takes pawn, and now we have a Queen 5 pawns versus Queen 5 pawns versus Queen 5 pawns. But the drawback for Black is that the King is exposed here, and White can now attack the King with the checks and make the King in difficult situation, put the King in difficult situation. So White plays Queen G4 check. After Queen G4 check, Black played King F7, and after Queen H5 check, King to G7, and now White played Queen E8. Of course, in this position, one may get a doubt, why not Queen to F6? Now White will have the option of playing Queen H5, and after Queen F8, White may go to a better endgame in King and Pawn endgame. So after King G7, Queen takes Queen, King takes Queen, and now White has so many options of realizing his advantage, or maybe create some pressure, some more pressure in the position with King H3, King G7, King H4, etc. And after Queen G4 check, we have this position. King goes to F7, Queen H5. Now White attacks the pawn on H6, and he has to play King to G7 to support the pawn. Now White plays Queen E8. It's a very beautiful move, and it paralyzes the King. So the King cannot move because of a lot of checks on the board. And now Queen also, Black's Queen also is put to defense of this E6 pawn and E5 pawn. So Black tries to create counterplay here, so he plays Queen B4, giving up this pawn, and naturally taking this pawn on E6 is not good because of Queen E4 check, and Black now can try to give perpetual check. The Queen endgames are always very hard to play in chess game because of few reasons. Like your opponent always tries to create perpetual check threats, and you also have White the player who has advantage has to put the King in correct place. Placement of the King is critical, and one wrong square for the King makes the game equal. And the King safety dominates the evaluation of the position. Of course, in this position, White's King is in a very good square, and it is in a safe position. So now surprisingly in this position, one of these pawns are in great danger. And initially it will look like everything is well defended, but unfortunately for Black, White found the right variation. He plays Queen D7 check. After King F6, now White plays Queen D8 check. This is the in-between move. So now the King is relegated to defense of the pawns. So what he can do, if he plays King G7, I will take the pawn on C7 with check. So you can see the pawn on C7 is hanging here. Of course, White will not take directly Queen C7 because of Queen E4 check. But now after Queen D7, D8 check, the King is in problem. The King cannot go to 7th rank because of problems. C7 pawn is hanging. So he plays King to G6. Now Jobava plays Queen G8 check, King F6, Queen H8 check. Now you can see one of these pawns, the pawn on E5 or the pawn on H6 is falling. So he plays King G6 and Queen takes pawn. So now White is a pawn up, but realizing this position is not so easy, and he has to do some more work in the position to realize the advantage of the pawn. So Black played Queen C4, defending both C7 and E6. Now White tries to, here pushing these pawns hastily will expose the King. So White finds hitting on the weaknesses like H5 square and etc. First of all, he would like to play G4. After G4, white is getting more space for the king, so king will slowly march into the game. And any king in pawn game, king march is also very very important. So he plays king to f7. Now white plays king g3, queen d3 check. Now you can see why black is always trying to create perpetual check. And white plays f3 and black goes by queen c4. They were again relegated to the defense of the pawn on c7 and e6. Now white plays a beautiful move, queen f4 check. And after queen f4 check, now white is already one pawn up, and this pawn, this queen indirectly defends the a4 pawn also. And he plays king g6 and pawn e5. Now you can see, in chess game, it's very easy to win the king and pawn in a game. So if black trades the queens, he loses the game very fast because he's already pawned down. So in this position, he plays queen c5, and you can see the queen on c5 is trying to give perpetual check to the king. So white plays king f6 check, king there, and queen f7 check. So he can take this pawn on e6 also. Though black is trying to give perpetual, this is not there. But a good chess player will always try to find the best moves in the board. So he plays queen f7 check quickly. He drives the king further back to the position. So he goes to h8. Now takes the pawn, and after queen check here, this is really threatening. But unfortunately for black, there was no perpetual check because of king f4 and queen d4 check. Now you may wonder why not queen g1 check here. After queen g1 check, I can play king f5, and after queen g5 check, king can come to e4. Now you can see there is no perpetual check left anymore. There are no checks, and white will be able to go for a queen endgame, or you can go and pick some more pawns on the say 7th rank. So he plays in this position we have reached. So he plays queen to d4 check, king f5, and he plays queen d3 check. Now in time trouble, most of the times what happens when you are short of time, you will be afraid to lose this pawn on f7, f3. So again coming back will lead to a draw. But Jobava finds a very nice maneuver here. He plays king f6, and look at the king march. The king has gone all the way to 6th rank now, and because of the king's presence, white is able to generate some mating options here also with queen e8 check. So queen g4, so king f6. After king f6, now we have queen f3 check. This is the point. Now white has to find a beautiful move. So what white did here, he simply played king g6. Now you can see the king is dangerously attacking the black's king. How it is possible? Because of queen e8 check and its mate. And you can't defend the mate on back rank with queen f8 because of queen f6 exchange of the queens is happening. So here black tried to play queen e4 check, and after queen f5, now I am again threatening checkmate on the f8 square, and if you try to defend, I'll put checkmate on f6 and g7 square, not possible. Queen b4 not possible because of check and checkmate on g7. So also queen c8 check is coming. So here black played black resigned here because queen takes f5 loses to pawn takes f5. So this is the thing. So to conclude, this game is a perfect example of converting an advantage with active pieces and a constant initiative. Thank you very much, and come back again to this channel in a few days. Thank you so much.